Hi and welcome to Verbl Physio. I'm Dr. Sudarshan Singh and welcome to the episode 2. We have 4 questions for you, but before that, thank you so much for such a great response for the first episode. And I have been getting questions on a regular basis from you all, and I'm more than happy to answer your questions. So let's start off. Let's see what all questions we have today. The first question is from someone who doesn't wish to be named. The question is, I have a 19-year-old kid and his weight is 120 kgs. How should I go about his fitness regime? The next question is it possible to heal Tendo Achilles and what exactly should be done? The third question is, which is very interesting and relevant in this time, is what ergonomic tips and furniture I be using to work at home and avoid my back pain and neck pain? And the last question is from a physiotherapist from Bangladesh who wants to know, is marketing really important for physiotherapy and how can a small individual clinic come up with a marketing plan? So before we start these questions, I would once again like to thank you all, and in case you want me to answer your question, below is the link drsudarshan.co/question where you can put in your question in detail and I'll be more than happy to answer in this episode of Verbl Physio, which you can be watching out on YouTube or Facebook. Make sure that you subscribe and like to this channel and keep getting updates on a regular basis. So let's start off with our first question. So the first question is from a parent who doesn't wish to be named. His question is, I have a 19-year-old kid and his weight is 120 kgs. What exactly should be done in order to reduce his weight? Will it be possible for him to reduce his weight for his life? So firstly, thank you so much for putting up this question, because a lot of parents still feel that at this age the kids are still growing and it is absolutely okay to have such an abnormal weight. So let me just tell you that this is not the case, and this is in fact a alarming situation today, which actually today most of the developed countries are already facing it in a big way. So we need to recognize this problem, and sadly India is not very far away from this problem, where we have also seen alarming cases of obesity, overweight, which is happening in teenagers these days. So coming to your question and helping you understand that how can he really lose weight? Well, it's very important to understand that we have to be very realistic when it comes to having goals. Okay, let's not feel that he should be losing about 10 kgs of weight every month and he should constantly be working out and eating only. This is not going to happen over just in 2 or 3 months. This is not a case of 2 and 3 months. It's going to be a long-term process, and as a parent you should be ready for it. You should give him it's very, very important to help your kid understand, mentally accept the fact that this is going to be really an alarming situation, because a lot of time for parents, what happens is that they don't see obesity as a problem, but the problems that happen because of obesity, when that comes to them as a signal, like early onset diabetes or very, very frequent sports injuries, is where they realize that these are the problems that are happening because of obesity. So it's very, very important to understand this is a long-term process which would take nothing less than 1 or 2 years for him to get back to a good amount of weight loss. Okay, and all he needs to do in this period of time, follow a regular fitness regime, because when you are young it's okay for you to burn calories and it's okay for you to do a good amount of physical activities because you don't have too many limitations. So it's very, very important that he should start off his activities with a minimum of 60 minutes per day for 6 days a week, followed by increasing this activity to up to 90 minutes. It should be preferably, you can have a 60-minute activity in the morning and 30 minutes of activity in the evening. So a lot of times parents keep telling me that because we have gone through this a lot of times and we have seen a lot of transformation stories like this. So one concern that parents have is that he's a growing kid and he has a lot of education and he has a lot of classes and things like that. You need to understand the importance of health here, because it is not just that weight which is showing up and which is only a problem. We fail to understand that the overall system is creating more issues which are metabolic issues, which are not seen and which will only come up as major problems. So we fail to see these issues and take action at the right time. So this is the kind of regime that we expect him to follow. It is okay to have some cheat days. It is okay to have some sort of dietary changes which can be done, but at the same time having not really putting it at a complete regulation, because this should not really frustrate the kid absolutely. It's because this is going to be a long-term process. We need to understand that you need to accept this as a form of a lifestyle rather than imposing this restriction for a limited period of time, maybe 6 months or 9 months. And after 9 months, if you just tell him that yes, now you're free to do everything, he will again get back to binge eating. He will again get back to less amount of activity, and this weight can further gain up, because this has happened with a lot of people who get into a very, very strict regime. So it's important to understand that these changes have to be slow, these changes have to be easy and more acceptable as a form of lifestyle. So I think if you follow this particular pattern, it will be easy for him to lose weight in this manner. So that answers your first question. Let's go to the second question. So the next question is from Mrs. Gode, who wants to know, she's suffering from a heel pain and has been advised that this is a Tendo Achilles heel pain, and some medications are given, and she wants to know, will this pain really go and will she really come back to a normal level? So thank you, Mrs. Gode, for this question. And I think yes, this pain will definitely get back to normal, but it's more to do with your overall lifestyle, which is going to make a lot of impact even if this pain has to come back. So this is where I would like to make some emphasis and help you understand what exactly is Achilles tendon problem all about. So as you can see, basically the tendon is nothing but end of the calf muscles, which actually becomes a tendon and gets inserted into the bony area, which is what we call the heel. Technically we call it the calcaneus. So basically initially you may have a little bit of tiny tears, which could be because of overuse, which could be because of ankle restriction in the ankle range of motion. If your range of motion is not very easy, and if you're still doing your activities like normal activities like walking, sit to stand, and all kind of, probably even running in case of runners, so this could probably start releasing tiny tears. Eventually this can become a tendinitis, where the pain becomes more often. The pain is more in the morning times, and it suddenly happens when you are sitting for a long time and then getting up, and you suddenly feel this pain which is hitting you badly, and it gets a little better after 10 to 15 steps. So this is the kind of normal format, and it's important to get the intervention at the right stage, because if you don't intervene at the right stage, and overuse without any therapy can even lead to a tendon rupture. Now, if there is a tendon rupture, this is where you will need a surgical intervention, where there is a surgery that needs to be carried out in order to restore the tendon. So talking about the therapy, when it comes to intervention therapy, initially medications are also helpful, but yes, physiotherapy helps in a better way. The first thing what you should be doing is avoid the activities that increase this kind of pain. For example, let's say when you get up in the morning, and the first thing is when you touch down your heel and you feel that pain. So instead of just touching down the heel, maybe you can just move your foot a bit, do a little bit of warm up, and then try to press it down, probably just touch down to the floor. This will reduce the amount of pain, and it will help you to improve the blood supply, because there is an inflamed area. Secondly, you should do a good amount of icing, maybe maybe 2 to 3 times a day, not more than 10 minutes of icing, which will really help you to reduce this inflammation to an extent. Well, if you still don't if the pain still persists after this, then probably it's the time to see a physiotherapist, where we need to do some ultrasound sessions, show you some stretches for your Achilles tendon, where we let you know how to stretch this tendon and further how to strengthen your calf. Okay, and make sure footwear plays a very important role in this case. So make sure that you wear a footwear even if you are at home, because normally we tend to have hard surfaces, even if we are at home, and if you constantly walk on these hard surface, there is a high chance that you get a constant pain in this case. So make sure you follow this, and I think it should be good enough. So the third question is from someone who's working at home. This is Mr. Mehul Kumar, who wants to know that I'm working from home, and is there a better form of ergonomics or any kind of proper furniture that I can use in order to ensure that I don't witness back pain and neck pain, which I'm already feeling. So well, yes, it is very much possible, and ergonomics is something which is nothing but the fitness between you and the kind of activity that you're having around. That could be your table, that could be your chair, that could be your computer. It is just to understand how well are you able to manage your positions here. So just to give you an idea here, if your ergonomics is not really well, yes, it can lead to a lot of issues, which could be neck pain, back pain. A lot of activities on keyboard can also lead to pain in the hands and tendons, and this is something what I would really advise from a proper posture. So as you can see, you need to see your monitor level. What exactly is your monitor level at? Is it really at 0 degrees ideally, or plus or minus 15 degrees, not beyond that? If it is beyond that, it means you're certainly straining your neck. Secondly, as you can see, your forearms have to be straight and rested properly. Your elbows should be tilted and slightly bent, preferably if it can be supported, that is the best thing. Your low back should be supported properly, and your shoulders should be relaxed. Ultimately, it's also the legs which matter a lot, and your feet should be flat on the floor. It should not be dangling down, or you're not supposed to excessively bend your knee, because that will again create an impact on your hip, and it can even lead to back pain. So this is the ideal scenario where you can actually this is again to help you understand a little more better, where you can actually try and create this position. But having said that, let me tell you, any posture, whenever you come to a specific posture, the best posture is the next posture. Okay, so it's very, very important that you keep changing your posture. Okay, ideally you should not be sitting for very long hours, because if you are, whatever is your ergonomics, however best is your ergonomics, if you're sitting for very, very long hours, this is not, your body is not going to support it, because human body is not meant to sit for a long period of time. Human body is meant to walk, human body is meant to run, and a lot of other activities. So ideal scenario is that you keep taking constant breaks, which is probably every 45 minutes to an hour, where you just take a break, stretch yourself, stretch your neck, go and take a walk. Well, this will just immediately turn the whole muscle action. Instead of having that same muscle action of sitting and the same postural muscles which are used, you will actually immediately convert this whole action, and this is what is required for us to take a proper break. So make sure that you take these frequent breaks on a regular basis, because this normally happens in a office culture also, but it's important that you don't forget this when you're working out at home. So that answers your third question. And coming to the fourth question, the last question is from a physiotherapist from Bangladesh. His name is Bishwas Nath, and he wants to know that, is marketing really relevant for a physiotherapy clinic, and if yes, how should a marketing plan move? Well, marketing is relevant for everyone. Okay, and it's important that you talk about your product or talk about your services to your clients, and probably your future clients. Okay, now it's very very important that what mode of marketing do you select. Though we talk about digital marketing these days, but it's very important to understand where exactly are you placed. Let's say if you are in a rural area where there is not a lot of digital penetration, then it is still okay to have a old mediums of marketing, which is probably newspapers or hoardings or banners, or probably even distributing pamphlets and things like that. But let's say if you are in an area where there is a good amount of digital penetration, you have your customers are the people who are actually on social media, then yes, it makes a lot of sense to have the right kind of digital marketing, which is firstly talking about social media. But then it's very very also important to have your own website, because if you don't have a website, people will not be able to understand or see what exactly are you doing. Social media will still only give you instances of a little bit of activity, but a website is where people can go and understand what all things do you cover, and will you be really able to solve their problem. So make sure you have a website first, and then go on with all sort of marketing, whether it is social media, Facebook, Instagram. It completely depends on what kind of audience are you looking at. Okay, so based on your kind of patients that you have, the age category, you can select a specific platform and keep focusing on that platform and share your work, share the kind of activities that you do. Make sure you also have a geolocation, because if you don't have a geolocation, people around you will not be able to find you. Okay, and if they cannot find you, they will not be in a position to really take services from you. So this is all about in a very very short way about what you can do for marketing. But yes, it is very very important. It's very very important to blow your trumpet and talk to people about your marketing. Thank you. So friends, this was the last question for episode number 2, and I will see you in my next episode. Till then, make sure that you are putting up your questions on a daily basis. And here is my link, drsudarshan.co/question, where you can put in your question, and I'll be more than happy to answer in my next episode. Till then, take care, God bless, and have a nice day.